Something big is brewing for the New York Yankees as they have once again been linked to MLB superstar Vladimir Gurrero Jr. as a major landing spot for Guerrero in next offseason, as it appears the New York Yankees could be getting into another bidding war. Meanwhile, the Yankees have been linked to a bunch of different free agents ahead of next winter, and we're going to break all this down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Yankees Digest. It's Chris here, and if you guys are enjoying the content, make sure to subscribe. If you're part of that 71% that's not subscribed to Yankees Digest, this is the place to be for all New York Yankees updates. We're going to have a lot of fun content. We're just waiting for Kirk and Ugo to return. They both did apparently go to space or something because I can't get a hold of them. So here I am holding this channel down. That's also a complete lie. Kirk is doing just fine. He's just working on some other stuff right now, but he'll be back soon. But look, the New York Yankees, they've been linked to Vladimir Gurrero Jr. We already saw the Jon Heyman report listing the Red Sox, the Mets, and the Yankees as the three top teams for Vladdy services once he hits free agency. Meanwhile, the Toronto Blue Jays are still going hard for Vladdy, who has said that he wants to stay with the Blue Jays for his entire career, but now they're going to have to compete with 29 other teams. Basically, the Montreal-born star is essentially alluding to the fact that he wants the most money possible, which means it's bidding war season once again. And Vladdy's set up nicely as long as he has a great year this season, as last year he played arguably the best season of his MLB career. He hit 30 home runs at a .323 batting average, had an OPS of 940, an OPS plus of 166. The man's a great first baseman. Really gives you a lot to like with Vladimir Gurrero Jr. Had a 6.2 WAR and 616 at-bats. Vladdy's one hell of a player. He's a four-time All-Star. He's a Gold Glover. So there's a lot to like about Vladdy, and the New York Yankees are going to be one of many teams trying to get Vladdy services on their team. So he's going to have a lot of suitors. So it's going to be not easy for the New York Yankees to pull it off. But diving into the report of recent, it was revealed that Steve Phillips at MLB Insider said in the end, the Yankees will have Vladdy and Judge in the middle of the lineup, meaning that Steve Phillips does believe the New York Yankees are going to be the team to land the services of Vladimir Gurrero Jr. Now, obviously, this is pretty surprising to see. I think a lot of fans would expect the New York Yankees to not be the favorites at all for Vladdy, as Vladdy did say that one time that he would never want to play for the Yankees, even though he walked that statement back, mainly because his dad told him to. But he walked that statement back. It is still hard to imagine that Vladdy's going to pick the Yankees over the Red Sox or the Mets or the Blue Jays. And, well, unless the Yankees pay him more money, and maybe they'll do that. Maybe out of absolute left field, Hal Steinbrenner will just drop his wallet on that table and be like, all right, let's do this thing. How much do you want, Vladdy? Maybe Vladdy's the guy that he's willing to do that for. Maybe it's someone else. This is a very interesting free agency coming up at the end of next season. So, obviously, it's a long time away, but the rumors have already begun as one of the craziest free agencies is going to begin in this calendar year. So we will see a lot of crazy stuff going on. But MLB.com also discussed with a bunch of different insiders about this. And Brian Hoke, New York Yankees beat writer, said, think of the great first baseman in Yankees history. Names like Lou Gehrig, Don Mattingly, Tino Martinez. Not consider the Yankees went to the World Series in 2024 with almost no production from that position. The group's 602 OPS was the lowest in baseball. By far, Anthony Rizzo has given way to Paul Goldschmidt, who's looking for a bounce-back season at 37. Maybe Goldie has more in the thump, or has more thump in the tank, but he's on a one-year contract and obviously not a long-term answer. Vlad Jr. can bring his star power and star production, and as a bonus, he's already been battle-tested in the AL East. Paul Goldschmidt was brought on to the New York Yankees because the Yankees wanted a bridge first baseman. They had a lot of interest in free agency's first baseman next year, Vladdy being one of the guys there. So that's why they signed Goldie. He's not a long-term answer. He's a bridge guy who the Yankees can have as a productive first baseman this season. Hopefully he could find a bounce back in now playing for a contending team, especially being set up in a good position to succeed. Still a great fielding first baseman. He does give the Yankees a lot of good. He'll give them a better first baseman than all of last season. So there is that. And meanwhile, they're waiting till next year to really start shelling out some dough for a first baseman. And maybe they don't and decide to move Aaron Judge to first base instead and find an outfielder, but we will go into that later on in the video. However, there are two different first basemen that the Yankees are going to be very interested in, one being Vladimir Gurrero Jr. and one being Munetaka Murakami. And we'll talk about, or Munetaka Murakami. We'll talk about both of them. We are talking about Vladdy right now. We'll get into Murakami in 1 minute. But just going over what all the beat writers seem to indicate it is going to be a battle, and the New York Yankees might be on the odd man out. Anthony DiComo of the New York Mets said that Pete Alonso sure seems like a man intent on opting out of that $54 million contract after this season, going as far to call the deal as a bridge that just gets to the next contract. Considering how reserved the Mets were in pursuing Alonso this winter, it's not hard to imagine a world which they simply accept Alonso's decision and move on from Alonso themselves. That would, of course, leave a Guerrero-sized hole at first base. It's a match that makes a lot of sense, and no doubts that Steve Cohen's willingness to spend up for players that he desires. He spent a good while on Tuesday talking openly about his ability to continue doing so. I said this before. When the New York Yankees lost Juan Soto to the New York Mets, this wasn't a one-off instance. This is just how things are now. Steve Cohen owns the Mets. He's way richer than Hal Steinbrenner. Get ready. This is not the last signing. The Mets didn't make the Juan Soto signing and check out. This is going to happen year after year now. The New York Mets are just going to get signing after signing after signing because they have an incredibly rich owner, and he's willing to spend money on the team, unlike the Yankees' rich owner, and also Hal Steinbrenner is just nowhere near the wealth level that Steve Cohen's at. So it does become this thing where the Yankees have put themselves, or not have put themselves, but have entered themselves into a really troubling situation that's going to be very difficult to battle with Steve Cohen. I'm not saying everything's changing, but it is going to be harder to beat the Mets than it used to be when it used to just be the easiest thing in the world. So times are changing, but the New York Yankees, they're going to have to figure out a way to stay the New York Yankees at the end of the day. And diving back in, because there's so much to discuss, Mark Feinsand said, if there's one thing we have learned is that the Mets are going to be in play for any free agent that plies their interest. With Alonso potentially opting out of his contract, there could be an opening at first where Vladdy would pair nicely in a lineup that has Juan Soto. That said, Feinsand doesn't expect the Blue Jays to go quietly in their pursuit of re-signing Vladdy, who has been the face of the franchise since he made his debut. Toronto needs to bring him back, though it remains to be seen whether the Blue Jays will pay what it takes to do so. To Feinsand, it's shaping up to be a two-horse race in his services, meaning who's not allowed there? The New York Yankees are not allowed there. And the Yankees, according to Brian Hoke, they will have money coming off their books if they decide to pursue a player like Vladdy. As has been reported, they might focus their attention on Japanese first baseman Munetaka Murakami. Paul Goldschmidt's $12.5 million, Devin Williams is $8.5 million. Trent Grisham's $5 million are all free agents, while Marcus Stroman, after $18 million, will likely be one as well. And Hoke said he has to say, after attempting to go toe-to-toe with Cohen's Mets for Soto, I don't see the Yankees would be all that enthusiastic about engaging in another bidding war. Yeah, I agree. I don't think the Yankees are going to try to be in another bidding war. Want to know what's embarrassing if your name is Steinbrenner? Losing a free agent superstar to the Mets. I mean, what a punch in the face that has to be for Hal. Unless he doesn't care. And maybe Hal just doesn't care. He might not. Maybe he just doesn't care. Or maybe he does, and now he looks like an idiot. Because he does look like an idiot. He just lost his 25-year-old free agent superstar to the Mets. Those Mets. That Mets. The ones that play in the middle of Queens, where there's nothing to do around the area except take the train. Like, yeah, that's the team. Them. You know the little brother? Them. How? Time to put your big boy pants on. Let's go here. Let's get this thing going. Let's find free agents. However, if the Mets do zero in on Vladdy Jr., here's what the New York Yankees do. The right move. And they don't do that. That is what the Yankees should do. They should see, the Mets are zeroed in on Vladimir Gurrero Jr. Guess what? We're not. We're not doing that at all. Have them. You can take them. Congratulations. You have Vladdy and Soto. Great for you. We're going to do something different. We're going to pursue Munetaka Murakami, who's been a very, very talented player throughout his time in the Japanese league, not in the MLB. He hasn't been to the MLB yet. He comes to the MLB this offseason. Murakami's been great. I mean, the man has just career averages that are absolutely nuts. He's putting up an OPS for his career in the 9s. The man has been unbelievable. He's a great power threat. He's a very talented fielder at first base, can play third base in a pinch as well. He does bat from the left side, which is pretty exciting. There is a lot going for them that they should pursue Munetaka Murakami. There is just one thing. He's going to end up not going to the Yankees because Japanese players don't know the Yankees exist anymore. Now, Brian Cashman has talked about this, and we are going to do a video breaking that down, but I want to have more knowledge on the subject before I jump into that. You got to do some research, guys. Come on. But look, when you don't get Munetaka Murakami because you understand he's just going to go to the Dodgers or I know they have Freddie Freeman, but when Murakami just goes to the Dodgers anyway for some platoon role for no reason, well, the New York Yankees, they shift their focus again. And they don't shift their focus. They aim their focus at a guy who they wanted over this offseason in a trade. There's a very simple explanation what the Yankees did. I also am pretty sure I accidentally showed him already. You go get Kyle Tucker. That's what you do. I get it. Vladdy's a little bit better. The numbers are a little bit better. The WAR's a little bit better. But also, he's not a little bit better. It's just the at-bats. Look at the at-bats. 277. Wrong guy. 616. 6.2 WAR. 4.7 WAR. You go get Kyle Tucker. Tucker got traded to the Chicago Cubs, a team trying to cut money off their budget. They're going to have Tucker for 1 year, and he's going to walk in free agency. The New York Yankees should not look towards Vladimir Gurrero Jr. They should look towards Kyle Tucker, a left-handed batter who replaces Juan Soto, but is a much better outfielder than Juan Soto. On top of this, the man had a 993 WAR, a 181 OPS. He's just better than Vladimir Gurrero Jr. Batting average of 289. He can slide right into that two-hole, and Aaron Judge can be the third batter. And what do? Because Tucker's a right fielder, you move Aaron Judge to first base and preserve that bat as long as humanly possible. That is what the New York Yankees do. If the Mets want to go for Vladdy Jr., go. You talk to Vladdy, for sure, if you're the Yankees. Call him up, be like, hey, what's up? We want to talk to you about free agency. He's like, yeah, well, I'm talking to the Mets also. They want me as well. It's like, all right, get out. We're not going to win this. We understand that Steve Cohen's going to want to beat us again. It's like a rematch that no one wants to see happen. So, well, Mets fans probably do. But they got a lot to make up for. But look, you get Kyle Tucker. He's better. Let the Mets go for Vladdy. Let the Blue Jays fight for Vladdy. Then just slide into that Kyle Tucker situation and be like, yo, you are a right fielder. And then everyone's happy, especially me, because I wanted Kyle Tucker in the offseason. However, the Yankees would have had to trade Luis Heel. And why would they do that when they could end up losing Tucker in a year? We already made that mistake once. Let's not do it again. Bring in Kyle Tucker next offseason. Solve all your problems. Have a great day. Like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Go Yankees. That's the move.